Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing the Bay State. Now, just a few notes about today's puzzle. So, the puzzle was basically part of a competition that CTC started in January. Essentially, the prompt of it is there is no place like home. And the constructor here, Scojo, went after a puzzle that essentially represents the state of Massachusetts. I actually did have to look this up, by the way. I didn't necessarily know what the Bay State is until, well, I googled it. And this is sort of my best attempt at showing what the bay looks like from some of the aerial photos that I've seen. So you've got a fairly large bay in the area, tons of sailing boats, lovely, expensive looking houses by the bay or by the beach, and lots of tennis courts I seem to see from that aerial footage. So certainly it seems to be an affluent part of the US. Anything else to say? Well, obviously no sleuth in there, no real story to share. Shall we just take a look at today's puzzle? I think we should do just that. So, the Bay State by Scojo, and you can see the German whisper line if you're familiar with the outline of Massachusetts states. That's basically what Scojo has got in here. I don't know if the black Kropki dot is like a city of some sort. Maybe the state capital. Perhaps an expert in the comments will actually let us know what, if anything, that black Kropki dot is meant to represent. Fairly straightforward rules for today. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column. I can't even select a column. Every column, and in every 3x3 box. Then we have, of course, the German whisper line. That is the dominant feature of today's puzzle. So if you imagine here, essentially what it says, neighboring digits along a green line must have a difference of at least 5. So if you imagine this cell here is a 2, these two neighboring cells have to be 5 or more away. That would be 7, 8, or 9, for example. Assume this cell is a 7. This would have to be 5 or more away, so it could be 1 or 2. And you end up with this pattern around the German whisper line where it oscillates between high digits, 6, 7, 8, 9, low digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, high, low, etc. Notice in my list of digits I did not include the number 5. If you try and place a 5, I think you will find it extremely difficult to do. Lastly, we have that single Kropki dot where digits on a black dot must be in a 1 to 2 ratio. And not all dots are necessarily given. So Scojo at least is explicit that negative constraints do not apply. So imagine if this is a 2, to be in a 2 to 1 ratio, that means one cell is the double of the other. That could be 1, as in 1 times 2 is 2. Or of course, 2 times 2 is 4. And that would be a legitimate pencil marking of this particular black Kropki dot. Unusually, we've been given 4 digits in this grid. I mean, that's stunning. We haven't seen digits in a grid in a long time on this channel. So really looking forward to today's puzzle. If you feel like visiting the Bay State, or at least playing this puzzle that is an homage to it, link will be in the description down below for you to play along as usual. And all that's left for me to do is to restart the clock, see how I get on. Now, the first thing that I'm tempted to do is, remember what I said earlier about the German whispers oscillate between low and high digits. It's to essentially color all of these cells as low or high. I don't know what's low. I'm just going to pick some random colors. This is purple. And then the alternate cell, and I'm just being careful rather than just highlighting them all, because if you skip one accidentally, you're in for a bad day when you're trying to solve this. So I am just double checking my work here. And then the alternate cell, whichever that may be, low or high, is orange. I can already see a few things. So first one I'm going to point out is row 6. We have 4 purple cells. Now, whether it's low or high doesn't matter. There's only 4 digits that are low, and there's only 4 digits that are high. So we're basically done with purple. Now, I can also tell you that this is absolutely an orange. Well, essentially, one thing we haven't placed in row 6 is a 5, and I can tell you we've got the first digits in around a minute. Just here, that's the 5. Reason is you can never have a 5 on a black Kropki dot. The alternative would be 2.5 to get 2.5 times 2 to get to 5. Or of course 5 times 2 is 10, which doesn't fit in normal Sudoku rules. We're only restricted to the digits 1 to 9. Now, I can see that these are clearly intended to help, so I'm going to use blue for low digits, red for high, and then the mission that I have in here is to figure out which one is purple. And I'm just going to think a little bit about row 6 a bit further. So something that's helpful to think about whenever it comes to German whisper lines, and I'm sort of starting to do now, is German whisper lines, they're a little bit funny in the sense which numbers can appear with whom. One, for example, is an extremely unrestricted number. Its digits, its neighbors can be from 6, 7, 8, or 9. Essentially, all of these are 5 or more away. 2, well, it starts to get a bit more restricted, 7, 8, 9. 3, even more restricted, just 8, 9. And then 4, only 9. That's the only cell, only digit that is 5 or more away. And essentially it sort of reverses from here. 6 can only be with a 1, 7 with a 1, 2, 8 with 1, 2, 3, and of course 9 could have any of them, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's always worthwhile thinking about kind of numbers in the middle, particularly the 4 and 6. See if you can make a bit of a breakthrough when it comes to German whispers. And I'm having a look at the orange one in particular, and I'm noticing that only this cell could be 4 or 6. So remember, 4 or 6 can only have one neighbor. It's either the 1 if it's a 6 or a 9 if it's a 4. And you can see this orange cell has 2 neighbors that have to be unique. They're in the same box. This cell has 2 purple neighbors. They have to be unique. They're in the same row. This cell has 2 neighbors. They have to be unique. They're in the same column. So none of these can be 4, 6. Otherwise, we'd require, for example, a double 9 if it's a 4. So that's 4 or 6. That's 8. That is 3, depending on what this is. Doesn't seem like we have the same challenge with the 4, 6 if it's purple. Essentially, if it's... I can't place it in here, because again, it has 2 neighbors in the same row and box. But one of these certainly would work. So I don't have the same restriction on the purple 4, 6. Very interesting. Where do I go next? Is the question I want to ask. Maybe this row. So right, okay, so row 3, where is the orange 4, 6? This cell here, where is it in row 3? And the answer is, well, it's not this cell, again, 2 neighbors. It's not that cell, again, 2 neighbors. You might be able to say it comes up in here, but of course Sudoku rules it out. So the orange 4, 6 is in one of these 2 cells where it would conflict with the 6. So a long way of saying that the orange is blue, not orange, and the purple is red, and this 4, 6 is a 4, and this therefore is an 8, and therefore we have a 4 in here. And this is excellent. We get a bit of a break in now. So these are, excuse me, I didn't mean to select both of these. These are clearly 1, 3. We've already placed 4 and 2. A 3 is quite restricted, as from the examples I showed you earlier. It can only be 8 or 9. Now, one of these is a 2. I'm not seeing which one it is, if I'm honest. This is, well, 1, 2, or 3. It can even be a 3 with an 8, 9 in here. It's not much of a restriction. Same in here, 1, 2, or 3. Again, not much of a restriction. One of these is a 6. This can't be a 6, again, because both of these have to be different. So that minimum would be 1 and 2. That means that's a minimum of 7. So this is 7 or 9. Am I going to have to go around and do this for a lot of the grid? It seems like it. I'm just trying to see what am I missing, rather than just sort of going around almost at random, pencil marking all of these. I'm just trying to sort of have more of a plan of attack, so to speak. Sorry, I'm just having a good think here. So here is Yeah, not sure. So this is, yeah. Let me have it. Let me carry on thinking about it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What does it all mean? Here is a better question. Which one of these is a 6? And we know this is not a 6 because we've got it in here. That's not a 6 because it's got two neighbors that are in the same box. This is not a 6 because it's again got two neighbors that are in the same row. This is the only one that is a 6. That's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 3. And therefore this is the 6. Excuse me, this is the 6 because that's the 1. I meant to remove the 1 and leave the 2, 3, excuse me. And this is 2, 3, or 4 in here. This is looking a lot better now. This is 7 or 9. Can't be a 7 next to a 3. This is in fact a 9, a 9. This is in fact a 7. One of these is 1, 2. Well, they have to be both 1, 2. This is now a 2, meaning this is 7, 8, or 9. Can't be a 6 because next to a 2 is only 4 away. It's not a 7. Same thing in here. This is another 8, 9. And we got the 1, 2. This is clearly from 3, 4. Excellent. This is going fairly well. This is not very restrictive. This is anything really. Again, this is anything. I could have 1 in here, 2 in there. This is, again, 7, 8, or 9. Same thing in here. This could be 1 and 2. So again, 7, 8, 9. I'm not sure that was worthwhile going around and pencil marking it. This is also 7, 8, 9. Because that's already a 2. So, just a bit of Sudoku. This is not 5, 6. This is 5, 6. Therefore, this is 3, 4. In fact, I can actually do better. I haven't really thought about this cell. This can't be 4 because that would require a double 9. So that's 3. This is 8 or 9. That's a 4. It's all coming together now. Sort of famous last words before it all breaks up. This is not 1 or 2. And the maximum I can place in here is a 3 because 4 is too close to the 8. So that's 3. Doesn't help me with my 8, 9. Doesn't help me with my 8, 9. Doesn't help me with this 8, 9 either. Okay. I get it. This is clearly not a 7. This is a 7. Therefore, this is 1 and 2. That is a 2. We've got a 1 staring right at it. Just simple Sudoku sleuth sometimes. Neither of these are now 7s. Doesn't help me with any restrictions because that means that, that can legitimately be a 3 now. Doesn't actually have to be a 2 since neither of them are a 7. Where else do I go next? I mean, I've kind of exhausted the German whisper line. This is an 8. We've already placed a 9. There's, yeah, a few legitimate numbers in here that I don't know. But really, at this point, I should probably just be doing a lot more classic Sudoku than I am. How about 8? Looking at an 8, 9. Looking at an 8. Maybe some more classic Sudoku. 3s, let's do a bit of that then. So what are some of the abundant digits we have? 1s, not many. 2s, not many. 3s, not really many either. 4s, sort of interesting. Not really interesting. Oh, that 4, I don't know how I didn't spot this way earlier. Way earlier. Can I complete this at all? So I need a 1, I need a second 5, 6, and I need a 4, and the 4 can only be in here, just Sudoku. And therefore up here is, well, not a 6, that's the 6, that's a 5. Up there we need 1 and 5. That 1 gives me an order, that's a 5, that's a 1. I don't know if I'm going to keep coloring, by the way. I will probably stop that fairly soon. I'm not sure I'm getting much value out of it at this point. But just as I was saying, I'm going to stop coloring. Let me just at least color the ones that I have remaining. Then I promise I will stop coloring. What do I have in here? I mean, we've got an 8, 9. Sleuth. Come on. 9, 8, 9. So we need a second blue, and then 8 and 9. That 9 you can see it's none of these cells. That's a 9. Then we have 2, 3, or 8. The definite 8. I can't really place some of the rest. Let me just see what are the options in here. We've got 1, 3, 6, and 8. No 1s here. No 8s here. No 6s there. 1, 2, 3, 4 low digits. That's definitely an 8. This is 1 or 3. Not helpful. It's a definite 6. So essentially 1 low digit, two low digits, 3 low digits, and then one of these two. I'm not seeing it. I mean, I can surely place a digit in here. It is a 5. Have I missed anything? I don't think I have. Yeah, oh no. For a second there, I thought this has to be 1, but I mean, this can be 1 or 2, so not really. Maybe in the interest of time, I'm just going to move on. Column 1, I haven't really thought too much about. For example, I still need 5, 7, and 9, I'm going to say. And 5, not a 6. This can't be a 9. This can't be 5 or 9. It's in fact a 7. That's a 5. That's a 9. It's quite helpful. But I pencil mark what these are. These are 2, 4, 5, and 7. These are not 2 or 4. Therefore, these are not 5 or 7. These two cells includes a second 3, 6 and a 9. Well, the 9 has to be in here. That can't be a 3 because of this 3. That's a 6. That's a 3. That's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 6, and a 2, 8 pair. We know what these are. This is 1, 2. We need 3, 5, and 7, I'm going to say. 7, not 8. That's not a 5. That's not a 3. Where else do we keep going in here? This is kind of, I don't normally pencil mark quadrants like this. That's got to be a 9, but both of these has been actually quite useful. It's sort of helped me move forward. So you can see these 2 9s eliminated all these cells except this 9. And then we need 2, 3, and 5. 5 can only be in this cell. These are 2 or 3. That's got to be a 7. That's got to be a 5. This is now got to be an 8. That's a 2 because we've got the 2, 3 pair. We know what these are. Actually, that 3 gives me a 2. To complete this, I need 6, which can only be in here because of this 6, and a 4. Doesn't help me down here. Then up there, we need 7, 8, 3, 7, and 8. 3 and 8 gives me a 7. Then we need 3 and 8. Not resolvable for the moment. What else do we have? It's kind of odd how I'm sort of looking at this and thinking there isn't a lot of information to help me complete sort of that way. Let me think about what's in here. I definitely need a 1 and a 5, 7. And this 5, 7 tells me that's the 1. This is 5 or 7. It's not a 5. 7. Ooh, I broke it somewhere. Yeah, it is 3, 7, 8. It is 3 and 8. This is meant to be a 7. That is meant to be a 5. That's how I broke it. It's meant to be 1 and 2. And that 2 tells me that's the 2, that's the 1. That's a bit better. That's not a 5. Still not resolved. I mean, essentially, I've got 3, 8 and 3, 7. 3, 7, 8, 9. I've got one more digit, which is the 6, which can only be in here. In here, I need 2 more digits. The 4 and the 5, I'm going to say. Well, the 5 can only be in here. The 4 can only be in here. This is 3, 7, or 8. Well, it's not 3. It's 7 or 8. And this is 7, 8, or 9. Well, it's not a 7. This is 8 or 9. We've got 8, 9 pairs, which gives me the 3, the 7, the 3, the 8, the 7 again. The 8, 9 still not. Actually, no, they are resolved with this 9. That's the 8. That's the 9. Right. Kind of finishing steps here. I need a 7 in this row. It's got to be in there. Then a 4, which gives me 2, 4, 2, 3. Very nearly done now. 1, 6, 3, and if I'm not mistaken, 8 for the finish. It's a lovely puzzle, Scojo. Flows very smoothly. Quite a clever break-in. Not sure there's any other way that I see to this. Essentially, you need to think about the 4, 6, then back up to row 3, then place it in here where the 6 gives you kind of the color for the entire German whisper line, and then you're off and racing. But lovely entry. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video. It was a less clumsy solve than usual from me. I don't know what's up with some of the clumsier ones recently, but this was pretty smooth all around. See you guys for the next video. Bye-bye for now.